This might be the most ridiculous list we've ever ranked, and that's why we love it. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 epic fictional sharks.
You see, Sykes, it's a fish-eat-fish world. You either take or you get taken.
For this list, we're taking a look at sharks that have left their mark in movies, television, and video games. To qualify, these have to be literal sharks, so no people in shark costumes like right and left shark. This also excludes humans with shark powers like Shark, yep, that's Taylor Lautner boy.
Showtime!
Number 10, the shark that eats Samuel L. Jackson, Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea might have gotten lost in the shuffle of killer shark movies, if it weren't for 2 words and 1 initial, Samuel L. Jackson. Even if you've never seen the film itself, there's a particular scene that's taken on a life of its own across the internet.
Nature can be lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
As the group begins to fall apart, Jackson's Russell rallies everyone with a speech about hope, survival, and teamwork. It's a rousing monologue that's only intensified by Jackson's signature epic delivery. And then a shark eats him.
First, we're gonna seal off this.
The abruptness of Jackson's demise leaves the audience jumping out of their seats and laughing hysterically simultaneously. As memorable as Jackson is, this immortal scene wouldn't be complete without the shark who breaks his concentration. That is a tasty Jackson.
Deep Blue Sea! They ate me! A f***ing shark ate me!
Number 9, Lenny Leno, Shark Tale.
Hi, I'm Lenny.
This DreamWorks animated feature brings a whole new meaning to the phrase sleepin' with the fishes. The film revolves around a family of mobster sharks led by Don Edward Leno, voiced by Robert De Niro.
I'm not asking you anymore. I'm telling you. Eat it.
No, have mercy. Pop, please.
Eat.
No, eat.
What are you...
Son,
No!
eat
No!
the shrimp.
Where De Niro's voice sticks out like a shark fin, the usually wild Jack Black is almost unrecognizable as the soft-spoken Lenny.
Wait! What, man?
I didn't catch your name.
Oscar.
I'm Lenny, hi.
After coming out as vegetarian, Lenny feels that he'll never be embraced by his own kind. With help from shark slayer Oscar, Lenny fakes his death and transitions into a dolphin.
Hey, boss, it's Lenny. He was wearing a disguise so we wouldn't recognize him, but now he's not wearing a disguise, so we do recognize him.
Lenny ultimately finds that he doesn't need to hide who he is, gaining the acceptance he deserves from his family. Maybe we're reading too much into it, but this movie may actually harbor some relevant messages.
I love you, son, no matter what you eat or how you dress.
Number 8, the Sharknado Sharks, Sharknado. Sharknado is a movie where the title speaks for itself. Hell, the poster's tagline even reads, "Enough said." We guess you could say this B-movie did for sharks what Twister did for cows. Of course, seeing a school of sharks spiraling around in a tornado is infinitely more absurd than watching cattle fly by.
Real sharks?
This crazy concept actually stemmed from another sci-fi original movie, Red Clover, also known as Leprechaun's Revenge. In that film, it's mentioned that another town never recovered after a Sharknado hit. According to writer Thunder Levin, this line apparently stuck with the sci-fi execs and boom, Sharknado was greenlit. Does this mean Sharknado and Red Clover exist in the same universe? In any case, we're long past the point of jumping the shark.
Sharks!
Number 7, frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads. Austin Powers in Goldmember. In the original Austin Powers, Dr. Evil plots to kill his arch nemesis by submerging him into a tank swarming with sharks.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Dr. Evil won't settle for ordinary sharks though, requesting ones with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads, which honestly sounds like overkill. Unfortunately, his evil organization is unable to obtain the sharks due to the endangered species list, forcing him to settle for mutated sea bass. It isn't until the 3rd movie that Dr. Evil is finally granted his simple request thanks to his son, Scott.
Are those sharks with laser beams attached to their heads?
These frickin' sharks are every bit as deadly as he hoped, especially thanks to their frickin' laser beams.
Cool!
Number 6, King Shark, also known as Nanaue, DC Universe. Just as Aquaman is the king of Atlantis, Nanaue comes from an undersea royal lineage, with his father being the king of all sharks and a supposed shark god. As far as some are concerned, though, this humanoid shark is nothing more than a mutated beast.
Those guns won't stop me, Flash. First I'll kill you, then I'll kill them.
Either way, we wouldn't recommend swimming with him on a moonlit night. King Shark made his initial splash onto the printed page in 1994, putting a damper on Superboy's Hawaiian Vacation. While not a household name, the character's popularity has extended to the Arrowverse and various animated movies. Although he was left out of David Ayer's 2016 Suicide Squad in favor of Killer Croc, it was announced in 2019 that Nanaue would make his DCEU debut in James Gunn's reboot.
You might be fast, but not as fast as I am in war.
Number 5. Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw is often written off as a Scooby-Doo clone. Seeing as how they were both created by Hanna-Barbera, both have been voiced by Frank Welker, and both are the mascots for a groovy group of teens.
Quiet! I hear something.
While the similarities are evident, this Saturday morning cartoon existed on another plane of madness. A talking dog is one thing, but Jabberjaw is a 15-foot talking shark who breathes air, plays the drums, and sounds an awful lot like Curly Howard.
Laser beam?
Adding to the insanity, he lives in a 2076 underwater society where sharks find themselves at the mercy of robots known as shark ejectors, a combination of so many surreal elements that only could have come out of the 1970s. This great white shark deserves a lot more respect.
Here I am, fans! Come and get me!
Number 4. The Megalodon. The Meg. This movie features 2 giant sharks for the price of one, but it's the main Megalodon that devoured its way onto this list. The prehistoric sharks in this movie range from 75 to 82 feet in length, although in reality this extinct species grew no larger than 60 feet. Of course, we're not judging the sharks here based on science. We're judging them based on a mix of size, destruction, and outrageousness. In those respects, the Meg is fierce enough to give the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World a swim for her money. Ripping apart a massive squid and nearly turning Sanya Bay into its own personal smorgasbord, nobody is safe from the Meg. Unless you're Jason Statham or Pippin. Seriously, how did that dog survive? Number 3. Street Sharks. Street Sharks. Just as Jabberjaw is frequently compared to Scooby-Doo, it's hard to discuss street sharks without drawing parallels to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Both shows center on 4 teenage brothers who are transformed into humanoid animal crime fighters.
I was just having a bad hallucination. Thought I saw like some terrible B-movie. Sharks!
Both shows also primarily got off the ground to promote a toy line. There are 3 things that set Street Sharks apart from the Turtles, however. 1. The Street Sharks enjoyed munching on burgers rather than pizza. Number 2. Jossum was their go-to catchphrase instead of cowabunga. Number 3. These anthropomorphic sharks were endorsed by Vin Diesel. While definitely a product of its time, Street Sharks is a 90s staple that'll resonate with anyone who grew up watching the show or owned a hand shark.
We'll save Ben's by faking our own surrender and mash those DNA disasters into anchovy paste.
Number 2. Bruce, Anchor, and Chum, Finding Nemo.
Hello?
When Marlin and Dory first encounter this Australian trio of sharks, they seem to be headed for a fish buffet. As it turns out, Bruce, Anchor, and Chum are actually part of a program to give up eating fish. Basically, it's the shark equivalent of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Today's meeting is step 5. Bring a fish friend.
We bet you didn't catch that as a kid. Although they want to give up their carnivorous ways, it doesn't take much more than the smell of fish blood to send Bruce overboard.
Intervention! Just a bite! You hold it together, mate! Remember, Bruce, fish are friends, not food!
Despite the best efforts of Anchor and Chum, Brucey suddenly becomes deadlier than Jack from The Shining.
Here's Brucey!
In Bruce's defense, though, he's clearly coping with abandonment issues. After surviving an explosion, Bruce thankfully gets back on the wagon, remembering that fish are friends, not food. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Armagon. Bounty Hunter, Space Assassin, wanted in 87 star systems.
If it's against the law, you can bet I'll break it!
Like, you can get... Basically, I'm gonna get hurt. Lovely.
quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. Baby Shark doo 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 doo.
Baby Shark doo 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 doo. Baby Shark doo 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 doo. Baby Shark.
Okay, no, let's be serious. Number 1. Jaws. Jaws. Somewhere between Jaws 2 and Jaws 3D, Jaws the Revenge and Jaws 19, the killer shark genre transitioned from thrilling to just plain silly. Nevertheless, that doesn't take away from just how frightening, intense, and gripping Steven Spielberg's original cinematic landmark remains.
You guys okay over there?
Although the human characters made Jaws so much more than a routine monster movie, it was the titular great white shark that made audiences afraid to go in the water. Where modern shark movies are all about showing off the central eating machine, Spielberg generated horror by concealing Jaws for much of the runtime. It didn't take much more than a musical cue from John Williams to make us wriggle in our seats, and when the shark finally reared its head, we were not disappointed.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.